They don't have the same respect for women. They don't. They believe they just cut them off, block them. They don't have respect for women. That's why something is zesty going on over there in that camp. It's because it's a camp. It's a camp, a Roman bathhouse camp. Okay? What y'all get to say?
That's what I had to learn. And that goes for anybody I deal with, just as far as I feel some type of way. Don't just cut them off. Do what God tells us to do.
Do what God tells you to do.
First.
What behind the scenes first?
Right, you know?
You talking about right.
New Breed Ringo?
You talking about right, Rilo. How you gonna say right when you did wrong? Cause confusion. But it was a plot, it was a plan. Because you ain't nothing but a snake. Now, as far as what we are here for today about this comment about Hulk Hogan, after Rilo cut me off, caused all kind of confusion, shortly after that, Ringo went live and said he had nothing more to do with me. He had blocked me. He didn't come behind the scenes. They do not follow biblical text. They do not follow how it's supposed to be done biblically, because Ringo didn't come behind the scenes and say nothing to me about he felt some kind of way about me saying something about Hulk Hogan. He just cut me off. And that is not how it's done biblically. So they held Hulk Hogan as they white yay God. Then Brainwaves, he just followed suit with what the other guys did. He just followed suit. Okay? Right. Ringo didn't like or trust Rilo one year ago, and now Ringo is covering up Rilo's sins. Both of them covering up Rilo's sins. They're covering up Rilo's sins, and they're covering up how it's supposed to be handled biblically. Because if I was mentioned, if I brought out, I rebuked New Breed way before these niggas did, and way before I did, when it was young still, they want to rewrite the history of how everything went down and want to classify me, the woman, as a witch that they had to throw out the phone. No, that's not how it went. They want to put themselves up on some kind of high pedestal, and as if it's the brethren, as if it's these three righteous men rebuking New Breed. They are liars. They are liars. They have had beef. Ringo has blocked them, made videos about these brethren, but now all of a sudden they all righteous because he's trying to rewrite the history. But he don't want the history to be rewritten about him and how he started on YouTube. He wants you all to remember about how he started on YouTube and that he was one of the first. Right? That's what he wants y'all to remember. That he was one of the first here on YouTube, and that's how he wants to be remembered. He wants to get his credit. He wants to have all his accolades. But he wants to rewrite history with the women. Me. I'm talking about ethereal. He will allow lies to be exist. Lies. Now I'm a witch. Oh, they do not have the discernment that, oh, now they can call me a witch after damn near a whole year. Now I'm a witch. These brethren don't have discernment. Why do they always lose discernment? They didn't have discernment with New Breed. Now all of a sudden they got this discernment. They didn't have discernment with me. No, something ain't right. It's the lies that they want to tell to write this false chapter. No, we don't get credit where credit is due. Why we can't rock with Ethereal no more, because she spoke against a white team man who was on the wrestling team, who we love, who we honor, who we cherish. So we got to get rid of an Israelite woman, a black woman, a woman of God, because we still worship idols here in the Americas. We still have idolatry in our heart. So while we have idolatry in our heart, we have to call this woman of God, this sister, a witch. Because we want to protect the idolatry in our heart. And when they're supposed to be men of God, they're supposed to be reading the Bible. They're supposed to be knowing about the Bible. They're supposed to know they're not supposed to have any idols. They're supposed to not worship any idols. But they worship Hulk Hogan. They have idolatry in their heart. So they kick Ethereal to the curb. Ask them that, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Roll up in their chat and ask them, why y'all going against Ethereal and y'all worshiping Hulk Hogan? Why y'all have idolatry in your heart? Why y'all say Ethereal said Hulk Hogan was racist? Ethereal didn't say Ethereal was reporting what he did in his life. Why y'all worshiping man? Ask them that. Why are they having idolatry? Isn't that God goes against idolatry? That's what these men said. I came out on my own platform and rebuked Hulk Hogan. That's right. Said he was a racist and said he probably in hell said, brethren, don't do it. They got mad at that because they have idolatry in their heart. They worship a white man that died. Brothers and sisters, boys and girls, that's idolatry. Ask them that. Why they keep trying to proclaim what Brainwaves try to proclaim that I'm a witch. Ask him about his idolatry. Ask him about his worship of Hulk Hogan and why that's the reason why Ringo said he has nothing to do with me. Ask Ringo why he can try to preach the word of the Most High Yahweh. He has idolatry in his heart because he let an Israelite woman go a black woman. He rebuked a black woman. He tried to shame a black woman off of a platform in front of 180,000 people. Huh? For the idolatry he carried in his heart for Hulk Hogan. We need to understand that. We need to understand. I need everybody, all these pastors, Pastor Rufus, they like to call your name now. Pastor Rufus, is it okay? But it's idolatry. Is it okay for Pastor Rufus? Because I hear your name a lot. Well, the idolatry these men had in their heart, talking about I don't rock with Ethereal no more because she spoke on Hulk Hogan. That's idolatry. They worship a man and they will rebuke a sister because a sister spoke out against a man that was confederate against black folks in America. Brother Chaarawtazar, I know he eat you alive, Brainwaves. He'll eat you alive, Ringo. He will eat you alive, Rilo. Y'all do not know the word. So I don't know why y'all even try to call out Brother Chaarawtazar. He will tell you the truth and shame the devil for real. Y'all men over here got idolatry in your heart. Y'all worshiping Hulk Hogan and gonna try to throw me under the bus. Try to make me look bad in front of the brother and sister for idolatry. To try to make yourself stay looking righteous on social media. Not telling the truth. Well, the truth today, brothers and sisters, is that they were not the first to rebuke New Breed. Brothers and zesty. Somebody is pouring zest in the stew. And I believe it's Rilo. They idolatry. They worship men booty. That's right, I said it. Idolatry. Because they see men come out in their drawers, jumping off of ropes. And they would rather, instead of rebuke and let the idolatry go of men, they worship man booty. Because they worship a white man booty who jump off of ropes in his drawers. Because that was their childhood hero. Idolatry. The worship of white man booty. Sodom and Gomorrah. Who's putting the zest in the stew that they over there eating? Why they want to rebuke a black woman, call a black woman a witch, while they hold up idolatry? Huh? Worship a white booty. A white man booty. A wrestler walking around with his shirt off. In his shorts. Not even shorts. His tidy yellow whiteys. Right? Idolatry. Rilo couldn't even pick up that the man he interviewed told him you don't just cut off people. You follow the Bible. He don't even know how to interview nobody. You don't just cut off people. You follow the Bible. Ringo didn't even stand 10 toes down on what he wanted to say he rebuking New Breed, but he ain't stand 10 toes down over there with Rollo. Well, tell him what's up, man. Why you do Ethereal like that? What's up? Did you talk to Ethereal? Did you go back? No, none of them did. What's up? Hey, God, none of them did. Idolatry. They said Ringo. Brainwaves, did you ask Ringo? Man, you worshiping a white cheat man booty? That's idolatry. You worshiping a white wrestler? You gonna cut Ethereal off because she did her own report about him being racist? They had a whole panel. They went on a whole panel about me, y'all, because they wanted to worship a white T man in his drawers with his shirt off. With his shirt off. Hulk Hogan. Idolatry. That's what they want to do. And call me the witch. Is this some homosexual tendencies going on over there? Is this some homosexual idolatry tendency? You know, Roman, they was homosexuals. The Roman culture was homosexuals. They worship the man booty. They worship the phallus. You know that, don't you? We need answers. We need answers quick. We need answers. So here is the truth. This man right here on this photo, that's Young Still. He's the first to rebuke New Breed Global Truth. I was the second. Many more came after me. And before these three amigos, worshiping man booty, worshiping idolatry, idol worship of Hulk Hogan. This is why I got kicked to the curb. This is the truth why Ethereal got kicked to the curb, because they worship man booty, Hulk Hogan, idolatry. They had a whole panel held against me because they wanted to uplift they worship of man booty, idolatry. It's a sin. They're gonna burn for worshiping man booty. They're gonna burn for worshiping a man, an idol, because they said it was their idol, their childhood idol. Idolatry. You understand? They don't like women. They don't like women. Half the women around them just they cover up. They worship man booty. Something zesty over there. Something very zesty. All right? So we're going to keep it a buck. Okay? We can give a shout out to Ringo. That's his talking point. They love to say what their talking point is. We'll keep it a buck over here. We ain't no colonizer ways over here. We don't give credit where credit is due. Young Still, first to put on the streets of these YouTube streets about New Breed. I was the second. We're going to keep it a buck over here. I'm not no witch. We're going to keep it a buck over here. These men kick me out of their little clique, if you want to call it a clique. For man booty. For idolatry. For putting the white T-man on a pedestal. Hulk Hogan. We're going to keep it a buck today and any other day. Man booty is a worship of homosexual tendencies, homosexual ways. They kicked Ethereal out of the platforms that they were on because they worship a man who walked around in his underwear with his shirt off. Idolatry. Can we speak on that? Can somebody talk about that today? Idolatry. They didn't want to give a woman any credit because they take credit from women. Let's get into that. I'm going to tell you. We can get to this before I get out of here. They take credit from women. They don't want to give women credit for nothing because they the ones that want to keep preaching and teaching women to be only in the kitchen. But you know what? There was two Marys. There was one in the kitchen. There was one sitting beside Jesus. And that other Mary probably was just like they wives in the kitchen, slaving away. But guess where I was sitting? Guess where I was sitting? I was sitting right beside Jesus, right amongst the men getting a lesson. And they probably had they wives, the other Marys, they wives in the kitchen. She got upset with me. Why is this Mary over here amongst the men listening to you, Jesus? Because that's where she needs to be, Mary. Get back in the kitchen. That's your spot. This is Mary Magdalene's spot, right beside you. These men don't understand. There's more to women than just being in the kitchen. They don't know their Bible. They want to be, they powerless against strong women, smart women. And baby, if you're beautiful, baby, they shaking in their damn boots. They ready to tell you brothers to get ugly women. Knowing men, their first thing is looking upon women's beauty. But they're going to sit here and lie to you and tell you all women that are beautiful is witches. As if they can't see a beautiful woman, like they can't partake upon women's beauty. Like the Most High said, I'm going to put all my righteous jewels into ugly women. So you say your wives is ugly. Is that what y'all trying to tell us today? Is you say your wives and girlfriends is ugly so that they won't be called a witch? That's what they're saying. Or are they mad at beautiful women? So they have to say they witches because they smart. Huh? They can't give credit where credit is due. You know what that's called? The Matilda effect. Men see your work, they see your knowledge, they see your gifts, like New Breed did, start to take it, put it on their own platform, and use it as their own talking point. It's called the Matilda effect. Let's get it.
The Matilda effect is when women do the work but men take the credit. For example, Dr. Rosalind Franklin, she took the first image of DNA. Two dudes stole it, got famous, and received the Nobel Prize. She got cancer and died. Gabrielle Collette, best-selling French novelist. Her husband locked her in a room and forced her to write while he took credit. Ada Lovelace invented coding for a machine that didn't even exist yet. She was dismissed as a glorified secretary. Margaret Keane painted the creepy big eye portraits. Her husband claimed them for years until she proved they were hers by painting live in court. Lisa Meitner figured out nuclear fission. Her male colleague got the Nobel Prize. Then the men used her discovery to create the atomic bomb. Fanny Mendelssohn, a very talented composer. Her music was so good, they let her brother Felix publish it under his name. Nettie Stevens discovered sex chromosomes. Her male colleague took credit in textbooks. Jocelyn Bell Burnell discovered pulsars, which are basically zombie stars. But her male supervisor received the Nobel Prize. And this goes way back. Even Trotao Salerno, who wrote medical books in the 12th century. After she died, many men published her work under their names. Wow. Anyway, happy Women's History Month. Please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. K455NR Dr. 4. Yes, Hulk Hogan was racist. But these men have idolatry. They worship man booty. I tell you something zesty over there. They not doing everything by the book. And when I say by the book, I'm talking about the Holy Bible. Because how you gonna say you kicking Ethereal to the curb for man booty? For idolatry worship. When I just reported on the truth, the facts of the matter. And they say I can pull it up. I can do a whole live stream on it with their words coming out their own mouth. They got idolatry worship over there, but they say they trying to rebuke New Breed. And they worshiping, excuse me, y'all, they worshiping man booty. Hulk Hogan. And they kicked Ethereal to the curb when it was started with a pot that Rollo was stewing up. I'm going to make it plain today. We going to hold our reputations here on YouTube. firm and fast. You want to be known for what you did in 2006 on your way, starting your YouTube channel. You want to be remembered, Ringo. You remember people for what they did too. Don't throw lies on their name and don't allow your followers to throw lies on people's names. Because I wasn't a witch when you were saying ethereal, ethereal, ethereal. I wasn't a witch then. I ain't a witch now. Ringo, Rollo, and Brainwaves. We don't need the truth and nothing but the truth here on these platforms. And we want our legacy to be remembered correctly, right? And women deserve the same treatment. You understand? Not just men. Get out of that idolatry that you got in your heart. That you would throw a woman to the curb for the worship of white people. Hulk Hogan, and race. When you come to grips with that, maybe the Lord might forgive you, and you will take your ways in the idolatry, the worship of white people.